Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Everything you need to know in order to create a high converting product page design. Now, the goal of every coach, consultant, or small business owner is to get more clients and customers and also generate more revenue and grow your online business. And I'm assuming that's the goal that you have, and that's what you want to do to achieve your business. And that's the reason why you're listening to our podcast each and every day in order for you to build a business that's profitable and enjoyable. But how can you achieve this goal? What is it that you need to do in order to actually scale and grow your business? And what you need above all else is sales. And how do you get these sales if your product pages are not actually converting and you're not driving traffic to these product pages? So what you're going to need basically is a good and detailed action plan with the right steps, and that will help you take your clients from merely browsing to actually purchasing from you, and this will definitely guarantee you success. So and what we try and do each and every day on this podcast is to teach you exactly what you need to know about scaling and growing your highly profitable and widely successful online business. And we're using a 4-step system that will help you go from merely surviving to actually thriving. Okay. So I know and I understand, as a coach, consultant, or small service business owner, growing your own business is tough. Maybe you're cold calling potential clients each and every day and you're having them hang up in your face, or you're sending out hundreds of emails without getting as much as a thank you for reaching out, or you're wasting thousands of dollars on ad spend without even generating any qualified leads. Okay. And sometimes it may just feel like no one actually wants to buy what you're selling. And then and it's a tough one when you actually rely on your business to maybe pay rent and put food on your table. It can be an enormous strain on your emotions, on your well-being, and you're terrified that, you're going to have to give up on your dreams and maybe eventually return to the safety of a 9-to-5 job. And I'm saying this with utmost love and respect. But maybe the one thing that you might need to do is actually just create converting product pages that will actually get and help people through your sales funnel and help them purchase your product eventually. Because your product page design can actually make the real difference to whether your customers convert or not. And in this podcast, I'm going to share with you our top tips on how you can actually optimize your product pages there. Now, I've got a question for you. How many actual products do you sell within your business? Do you know how many products you're selling within your business? Because building effective and highly converting B2B product pages is not as simple as just describing your product or publishing a page and hoping customers will throw their credit card at you and buy. As it depends also who your target audience is. If you're targeting B2B clients or B2C clients, because business decision makers are now conducting much more research online before actually making any single purchase. And even B2C clients are doing the same as well. So your coaching, it might be different training or information or expertise or whatever event that you're putting out there, or whatever commodity or product that you're putting out there. It has to be totally different and so unique and presented in such a way that is compelling to the end user. And that's why your product page design must be crafted to perfection. So if you're operating within the B2B space, these B2B product pages should follow nearly a unique structure, which is totally different to a B2C structure of converting a customer into a client. And although they both need to include details about your product, when you're selling to business decision makers, these people expect you to provide them with more information that actually answers any key questions that they might have. So instead of optimizing product pages for quick purchases, your B2B product pages should actually nurture the viewer and encourage them to convert or take further action and find out more information. Because remember, when you're selling to a B2B customer, they also have a board or manager or a whole business to have to explain their purchase decision. So you want to make it as easy for them to defend your product in the boardroom as possible, because no one was ever fired from buying from IBM or buying from Telstra. So as a coach, consultant, or small business owner there, you might be thinking, how can I grow my business and actually compete with the bigger players there? Because the biggest problem that you're facing right now is marketing is just one aspect of running a successful business. You need to be hiring new staff, you need to be balancing books, you need to be driving growth, and a whole lot more other things. And it feels like a constant balancing act where you're actually pulled in multiple different directions. But if you have put together an optimizing sales page, you can actually leverage that, and so you can actually start selling more to everybody else that lands on your website or that patronizes your business. And the way to do that is you need to do your research. Okay, before you start creating B2B sort of product page, you need to leverage whatever customer insights to understand how visitors are interacting with your site. So you want to do A/B testing, because user testing is key to know what your customers actually like and what they find frustrating about your product pages or the website as a whole. And you want to ask your current customers to actually test your site, even break it. So you want to check out if it's actually coming out proper on mobile sites or on iPads or other different screens they might be visiting your website on. Because we might be looking at our website from one single screen, whereas when your customers are deciding to make a purchase on a product, they might be using a big screen in their boardroom. And if your website doesn't come out well, guess what? They're just going to put it in the too hard basket. And if you lost a sale just simply because you haven't done one more A/B testing, okay? So you want to ask your current customers to test your site. And do they actually understand what you do and what you're trying to offer as soon as they land on that page? And is it loading fast enough for them to not wander, or just think that their time is being wasted, etc. So they are, you need to find out, are there things missing that they expect to be there? Is it obvious what their next step should be? All of those answers you need to have in order to present a well-optimized product page. And the purpose of a product page is to show, these business leaders that what you're offering is actually the right product and you're the right partner for them. And you want to convince them to actually buy it, and that they're not making a grave mistake that they will leave to regret. And they should actually answer questions about what you provide and facilitate the buying process, because these people, maybe it's a HR consultant or HR representative or the accounts manager within that business, if they are ever to defend your course, your training, or your information, they need to have all the information that will help them facilitate this buying process, and all the answers should be answered. So just in case anything is asked off of them, they could be able to get that information right from the get-go. So if you know how your users are currently interacting with your website and the type of content that they actually enjoy consuming, which you can measure by using, whatever KPIs you might have, you can actually start optimizing your product pages to appeal to those behaviors. Okay, you do more of what's working, and what's working you keep, and what's not working you ditch. You might be asking yourself, at the end of the day, my real goal is to help my clients. I don't want to be spending as much time as possible tinkering with my website or product pages. I want to be spending as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems. So, in the process of you creating a product page, don't try and include too much, because you want to give enough value to whoever's reading your product pages in order for them to make a decision. Because sometimes it's actually tempting to try and include too much information on your product page. And when you're trying to write, this copy and you're describing your features and your benefits, it can be easy to actually get carried away. But I want you to remember this. People are much more likely to read through if you keep things short and sweet. So you want to avoid using certain words and phrases that are too big, and basically this would actually undermine your offering. And you want to make sure you're choosing your phrasing carefully, and you're not using really big words that make your customer or your client feel like they are being undermined or inadequate, or you don't want to make people feel stupid. So basically, I would advise that you hire a copywriter who's actually skilled in crafting content, for your product pages that are aimed at the B2B audience, and they will also understand how to best use words to actually convince your visitors of the value that you're offering. Half of the time we are way too close to the product, and what normally would happen is we try and give people all the information hoping that it will help them convert. So you need to include just vital information about your product on this page, but try to focus on condensing it down to just a few key points, just enough for somebody to grasp what it is that you're trying to put across, and then you can then include a link to either download a brochure or call your number so that they can speak to an agent for more information. All right. So at the end of the day, you don't want to bombard your audience with all the information right from the get-go. Half of the time, people are just in discovery phase, so they just want to have a high-level, approach to what it is that you're offering, and if it is essential for where they're headed to. This is why you just need to showcase the features and benefits of your product right from the get-go. Okay, so a lot of these B2B pages that we come across, they include a never-ending list of maybe product specifications and features, but how many people actually want to read that? So your product page should position your product positively and emphasizing its standout features and the key benefits that you're actually bringing to your users' lives. Remember, you are out there trying to make your customers' lives better. All right. So if you're coach or consultant, and maybe you're offering a software product, be aware of the continuous integration. What I mean by that is, you're putting out a set of processes and principles that only your dev team can actually understand, and how they actually make the product's code work. All of that is gibberish to your end user. So it's important to work closely with your customers to understand how they actually refer to your products when they're out there in the marketing in the marketplace there. Because the goal of your product page is to actually capture people's interest and motivate them to take action and want to find out more about what you're providing. So your training, your consulting, your information, and your expertise should just be put out there in a simple amount of words and as descriptive as possible, because much more of the content on your product page should just answer the following questions. First of all, what's unique about your product? Because your product is swimming in the competition of Me Too products out there, and the customer is asking themselves the question, how will it help me overcome the challenges that they're facing currently at their work, and how will it make their team's job easier, and what value will it bring to the overall business operation? So if your product is not answering any of these questions that are going through in your customer's head, then obviously this person will find it very difficult for them to engage with whatever it is that you are offering. Okay, so at the end of the day, you just need to show people how your products and services will make their lives better. In as much as we are giving value to our customers, we also need to be directing them towards making a purchase. And that's the reason why it is very essential and crucial to be using a powerful call to action on your product page. All right. So the call to action, which is maybe abbreviated as CTA, is actually the essential part of any landing page or any product page, because it connects two vital parts of the lead generation process. First of all, it acts as the next step to convert your visitor into a lead, because more than 90% of people who read your headline will also read your calls to action. So you want to make sure that you are directing people towards a certain goal, and which is what people are there to be doing anyway on your website. So I think in a B2B decision-making process, it typically requires more communication and time than when you're just selling to customers, all right? And a simple buy now or get in touch to buy a product is not just going to cut it. You need to get people to be comfortable in getting more information from you and learning more about what it is that your product will do. And remember those questions that are flying through your customer's head. They want to know how unique your product is and how it's going to help them solve whatever problems that led them to come to your website in the first place. Okay, so a very good example for a B2B call to action would be something along the lines of, here is a 30-day free trial. Okay, because this shows that you're actually focused on proving to your customer the value of your product, and you're not all about just making a quick buck. Okay, because these customers often have longer customer life cycles than a B2B customer. And at the end of the day, for improved conversions on your B2B product pages, you just want to follow these simple tips. Keep the call to action text short and to the point, because that's the last frontier that you have in terms of communicating with your customer. Either they're just going to bounce off your page, or they actually click onto that call to action and then they move on to the next phase of your buyer's journey. And you want to convey the value of that product, through that call to action. So you want to make it as compelling as possible and make it really stand out on the page. So try and use maybe your brand colors. Red is usually a really good call to action color. Anything that just really stands out from on your page. But some people might argue that red usually stops people, so you want to do your own research depending on the industry that you are involved in. And you want to also test out different call to actions and tailor them to your target audience, and also make sure that they are they have context as to what it is that you're trying to put out there, because most business to business buyers won't be ready to make a purchase when they land on your product page. So these decisions are often made through a high investment, because your coaching, your consulting, your training, or your information usually is not cheap. So you want to use call to actions that actually encourage visitors to do their homework before they make a purchase, and make sure that you already have the content for them to consume, and they're not going to use somebody else who already has that content for them. Okay, so whichever way that you are inviting people to go to the next step, either for them to view a demo, watch a video, or read a case study, or book a consultation with one of you. All you have to be doing in the call to action is encouraging them to take the next step and move further in their buyer's journey. Because at any given point, customers need to know that they're headed towards some sort of conclusion, which might then end up in them making a purchase of your products or the services that you're trying to sell to them. One thing that happens when people are making B2B purchases is they want to know that there's not going to be too much of a learning curve on both fronts. Okay, they want to know that your processes are proven and they're not going to be having to be an experiment on their own expense. So on the product page, you want to offer social proof in the form of testimonials and case studies, because social proof actually allows you to demonstrate the value of your product with real life evidence. Other people that are in the same industry and other people that have gone through the process or the product, and they've actually got a good story to tell after the experience. So whether you choose to include either tweets from satisfied customers or Google reviews or case studies of other B2B business leaders who've actually purchased your product, there are plenty of ways to get social proof right. And you want to make sure that it's authentic social proof. You're not just writing stuff just so that people can be coaxed or coerced to making a purchase of your product, because that will backfire on your part. So as a B2B business, you probably have a page dedicated to your case studies, which is something that you need to be working on, as that is proof that whatever processes or concepts that you're putting out there actually do work. It's also a good idea to use quotes from satisfied CEOs in other businesses that are actually recognized by your future prospects, and you want to sprinkle them around your product pages, because this provide your leads with proof that your product has actually worked for other businesses and is helping them to be to be, do, and have businesses that are profitable out there. And it will definitely show work for them if it has worked for other people. Okay, so you consider positioning this social proof usually near other vital information on the page, like maybe the parts where you put your pricing or where you put your call to action, because this is what will then help your customers actually subconsciously be moved towards wanting to work with you or do something with you. And you want to ensure that your product page is designed and is actually optimized either for mobile or for different screens. Like I mentioned earlier on, sometimes when our customers are deciding to buy our products, they're probably using a really, really big screen, or they're just looking at your website from a mobile device. So you want to make sure that your product pages are optimized for different screens, and especially for mobile, because I think it was the end of 2020, this made up over half of the daily internet time that people were using with approaching the internet through their mobile device. So mobile optimization is now extremely important in the in the B2B arena, in as much as a lot of people are making purchases on Amazon and everything else just using their mobile phone. So they are literally converting that experience and also making purchases in the B2B world. So you want to ensure that your product pages are optimized so that business leaders and decision makers can actually view them from whatever device that they choose to view from, especially mobile devices. And as more companies are adopting this remote hybrid workforce, websites need to offer some experience of a mobile, because your clients are probably in transit while they are looking at your product pages. Okay, and like I said, test and measure whatever is working, and also measure performance with KPIs to ensure that you are not just spraying and praying with your marketing, you're actually delivering on your promise, because your product page is the last frontier that actually, determines whether somebody is going to become your client or not. So whether you're promoting a software or email management tools to help maybe freelancers or big corporations, maintain best practices in their recruitment, or whatever they're needing your services, within their business, it is actually essential to continuously measure and test your product pages if they are actually delivering on your promise. You want to keep track of key performance indicators like time that is spent on each page, what the bounce rate is, and what sessions have been initiated and what has actually been clicked through. There are tools like Hotjar or any other heat mapping protocols that you can use out there, because this now provides you with insights of how your visitors are interacting with your pages, and it helps you identify any areas that you might need to be improving. Okay, so other performance aspects to consider is the actual conversion rate. How many people are coming to the page and how many people are actually taking whatever actions that you have put through with your call to actions. Although having a conversion rate won't always become a purchase. The conversion might actually be just downloading a report or filling out a form. It's a good indicator of how successful that purge is in convincing your users to take the next step, because that's all we want, taking the next step. So you also want to consider things like your search engine optimization strategy, your ads, all of those things that are driving traffic to the website. Are you bringing in the right kind of customer with the right kind of pain in order for them to purchase from you, or to convert and become a paying customer that pays, stays, and also refers? Because successful marketing leverages either SEO and the way you actually rank up on Google or other search engines. So you want to analyze the keywords on your product page and look for opportunities to add inbound links that actually drive traffic from other areas of your website there. Okay, and in the process, I really want you to convert more leads with these optimized B2B product pages, because your customers, they're taking their time to research and actually compare products before they speak to you or any of the sales reps out there or making a purchase. So you need to optimize your product pages and actually educate them, and you want to answer whatever questions they might have and guide them towards a compelling call to action that actually helps them take the next step in their customer journey. So you want to remember that it's not your product pages that actually affect potential leads and customers. It is actually how you optimize them and what it is that you're putting out there that would then convert these leads into customers. So when you combine with all your on-site features and have a live chat, and you also have a robust content marketing strategy, your website will be equipped with everything it needs to be building trust among your audience and eventually create for yourself a business that's profitable and enjoyable. So now it's your turn. I want you to discover how you can actually grow your service business by selling more of what it is that you love. And I want to save you a lot of time right now, because creating all of these pages might take a lot of time and you might not know everything that is needed. Okay, just reach out to my team and we will be able to help you out. Because we follow what we call the online prosperity method, and it can actually be tailored to help any coach, consultant, and service business owner to actually explode the growth of their business. And I can guarantee you that any coach or consultant can achieve the same mind-blowing success that we've helped our clients to actually achieve. And however, that doesn't mean that we're going to be taking just about everybody else. So we want to see what products you're putting out there, and if they are absolutely great, then we can help you do and have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au